Okay everyone, welcome back. I'm coming to you again in this slightly different format, and today I'm doing a 1-year review. Things have been really hectic. I'm trying to do a 1-year review on my 2021 Tesla Model Y, and I've got my notes here of all the things I like and all the things I dislike about the vehicle. So I'm going to start out taking a look at the interior and exterior of the vehicle, and I'm going to talk about some of my observations here. Below the video, you'll find chapters so you can skip around to different sections of the video that way. Now, I've owned the vehicle for about 14 months and it has just under 23,000 miles on it. The main complaint I have on the exterior of the vehicle is the quality of the paint or lack thereof. The car looks flawless from 10 feet away, but when you get close, you can see a lot of small chips in the paint. This is especially true on the front end at the bumper and hood. Here you can also see I've collected a lot of bugs on the front bumper as well. I very quickly got small chips in the doors on both the driver's side and passenger sides of the vehicle. I did put on the mud flaps, which provide additional protection of the lower portion of the rear doors. This is another complaint that I have also, is the lack of protection for the lower portion of the rear doors. Tesla has started providing PPF strips and mud flaps free of charge on new deliveries. At least that's what I hear. The paint is very thin, folks. So if you do a lot of highway driving or you do a lot of driving in rural areas, you may want to think about doing some PPF or plan on touching up these areas as needed. Fogging of the pillar cameras is also an issue in the colder winter months here in Maryland. The problem, when it does happen, is only temporary and goes away fairly quickly. As noted in previous videos, panel alignment was and continues to be good on this vehicle. It's not perfect, but variations in gap size are very hard to see and they don't bother me. The headlights and high beams on this vehicle also perform very well. I've been very happy with them. The tires appear to be wearing very well also. I've read a lot of comments from folks complaining about the tires only lasting 30,000 miles or so, but here at almost 23,000 miles, the tires are still in very good shape. And I do some spirited driving. I have no complaints about tire wear at all. Now the interior is also holding up pretty well, with the only notes I have here on the front seat bottoms. They appear to be very slightly deformed from use, and I wouldn't say it's worse than any of the other cars that I've owned at this mileage. Now the seat belts in the back seat do hit against the plastic and cause a rattling noise while driving, which is why I keep them buckled all the time. Now I've had a couple of service visits for the vehicle. 2 of them were to address loose interior trim on the driver's side B pillar. After the second service, it did not come loose again. I was told they applied adhesive and re-clipped it. I did take the vehicle into a service center to have the HVAC pressure sensor recall work performed. I had them tighten the rear door glass on the driver's side, and they had to do a full HVAC cleaning after about 6 months due to a bad smell coming from the vents. Plan on having your filters and HVAC serviced yearly for a cost of about $150 is what I was told by the service center. Now, with all that said, there are a lot of things I like about the vehicle, as well as a few additional complaints. So let's go ahead and get into those now. So the first thing, and I think this is something that everybody who has a Tesla is going to attest to, is the performance. I love the performance. Now, this is the Long Range Model Y. So the standard acceleration on this vehicle is 4.8 seconds 0 to 60. You can purchase an acceleration boost for $2,000 US, and that will decrease that to 4.2 seconds. But this car is plenty fast enough. One thing I will tell you is, if you're thinking about getting the performance and you're settling for the long range, do not drive the performance, because I did that and now I just want the performance, and the long range is just not good enough anymore. So do not drive the performance if you know you're going to need to settle for the long range. The next thing that I really like is the fact that I don't have to stop for gas. And a lot of people are going to say, well, it takes longer to charge an EV. Well, yeah, it does take longer to charge an EV, but I'm not sitting there while it's charging. Typically, with a gas-powered vehicle, I always have to get gas at the most inconvenient time. So when I'm leaving the house and I have to get to an appointment or something like that, and the gas tank is empty, now I need to spend 10 or 15 minutes to go to the gas station, get gas, and then go to my appointment. I never have to do that with an EV. Road trips take slightly longer, but only slightly. And otherwise, when I come home and I park the vehicle, I plug it in and it charges while I'm doing something else. So the next thing on the list of likes is low maintenance costs. Now, I do also have a gas vehicle in the family, and every time I need an oil change, it's at least $50, and then other services, it can get very expensive. On an EV, the only thing you really have to worry about is tires, wiper blades, cabin filters, windshield washer fluid, that kind of thing. The maintenance is much, much, much less, so you're spending less of your time and money on maintenance and more time enjoying life. Next thing on the list of likes is a smooth driving vehicle. Now, one of the things that happens when you have a gas vehicle is, if you need more power, you have to step on the accelerator and it has to downshift in order to get in the maximum power band of the gas engine. With an electric vehicle, you always have the maximum power available. So when you step on the accelerator, there's no downshifting, there's no searching for that power band, and there's no delays. This kind of goes along with performance, but it's a very smooth ride. There's no jerking, there's no delays. Everything is just very smooth, and it's quiet. There's not a gas engine under there making all kind of noise when you step on it harder. It's just quiet, smooth driving. Next thing on the list of likes is handling. Now, electric vehicles have, Tesla in particular, has the battery low in the vehicle. It's underneath the floor, and the battery's heavy. So all that weight is down low and in the center of the vehicle. It makes for a low center of gravity, and it makes the vehicle feel very planted and very connected with the road. So the vehicle handles well. It also feels very satisfying when you drive it because of the way the weight is distributed. The next thing on the list of likes is the supercharger network. Now, other EVs have public charging networks available, but they just don't match the supercharger network, at least not at this time. The supercharger network is all over, and the chargers are fast, and they're usually strategically placed where there's other services available. So the supercharger network really allows you to buy a Tesla vehicle and to be able to drive on long road trips with really not much added time. I think when my family and I took the car to Disney World last summer, I think it added about 45 minutes onto our trip down. And really not that much when you consider that we stopped and ate a couple of the times that we charged. So it really allows you to make road tripping in an electric vehicle without a lot of inconvenience. Now, many of you know I had a Chevy Bolt EV that had a maximum charge rate of 55 kilowatt. That vehicle took forever. That was not a road trip vehicle. The Model Y can charge up to 250 kilowatt at a Tesla Supercharger. So that makes for a very, very fast charging experience when you're on a road trip. Now, another plus is the Tesla navigation. When you're on a road trip, the Tesla navigation will tell you exactly where you need to stop. It will tell you how much charge you're going to have when you get there. And when you're actually stopped and charging in a supercharger, it will tell you, if you leave, how much charge you will have left when you get to the next supercharger stop or to your destination. So it's very, very well thought out and really a very nice system, and it really significantly reduces any range anxiety one might have taking a road trip in an EV. The next thing is one pedal driving. Now, this is something that some people may not care about, but for me, I want maximum efficiency out of my electric vehicle. I also like the one pedal driving because I don't have to use the brake. I can let off the accelerator and the vehicle will gradually slow. And one thing that'll happen is when you get used to that and the amount of slowing that occurs when you let off the accelerator, you'll learn to anticipate to where you really don't have to use the brakes at all except for in emergency situations. That makes for a much more efficient electric driving experience, and I actually like it. It's more fun for me to be able to drive with one pedal than to have to alternate between the accelerator and the brake pedal. So one of the cool things I'm going to show you now, I'm actually parked here in a parking lot. This is something that now that I have it, I can't do without it. So let's go into our entertainment, and we're going to tap on theater, and I'm going to tap on Netflix. And you can actually watch Netflix on this center screen, which is it's unbelievable. A lot of you may think that's just a gimmick, I don't really need it. Once you have it and once you experience it, you're not going to want to do without this. We'll say remind me later. And then again, you might think that it doesn't perform very well. Well, I can tell you it performs very well. It is sometimes slow to react to things, but the video is very good. So let me just tap on something here. I'm just going to tap on anything, and I'm going to try to play it. This is probably not the best video to demonstrate this, but it's really a nice feature. Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, you can watch it all right from the infotainment screen on your Tesla. And then I can get back out of here. Now, of course, you can't watch it while you're driving, so forget about doing that. So now we're going to take a look at some of the security features. This is something that I think is really great about the Model Y, and any Tesla for that matter, is the built-in Sentry Mode security system and the Dashcam as well. So now we can see that when I got back in the vehicle here, that there's a Sentry Mode event report down here at the bottom of our screen. So if I tap on this, it's going to allow me to open up the viewer, and I can see here at this red mark, that's where the event occurred. And I can see all four of my cameras, my front, my rear, and my left and my right repeaters. And let's just see what happened here. I actually set the alarm off when I was in the back seat. And here you can see me getting out and setting off the alarm. Here's the other side. Here's the rear. So very useful feature. I can also delete the footage from here as well. So if I tap the menu here, I can see that I can record footage for the dash cam. And if I tap on my viewer here, I can view the footage. I can also view the Sentry Mode footage from here as well. I tap this menu up here in the upper left. I can get all of my footage. I can do Sentry Mode footage and Dashcam footage. And if I select this and I play, it'll actually show the footage. So yeah, that in a nutshell is the Dashcam and Sentry Mode. Excellent feature, only available on a Tesla vehicle. And here we're going to take a quick look in the app. This is the Sentry Mode live view. Now you will need to have a premium connectivity subscription to be able to use this feature. But as we can see from the app, I can look at the Sentry Mode cameras on my vehicle from anywhere. Pretty neat. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a Tesla video if I didn't smash on the accelerator. Now, I don't think I've ever done this in any of my videos, and I don't suggest anybody do it. It's unsafe, and you should only do it on private property. Blah, blah, blah. And it's pretty fast. So now we're going to start getting into some of the things that I don't like. And some of this stuff is probably going to sound petty. But one thing I don't like is the lack of blind spot indicators in the mirrors, the side mirrors. Now, you'll see here in a minute, when I put on my turn signal, Tesla did push an update that shows the repeater camera when you turn on the turn signal. But the problem is, there's nothing in the mirrors. It's natural to look over into your side view mirror to see if there's something there, whether you're turning right or whether you're going left. It's natural to do that. It's not natural to look back at the center screen down towards the bottom left to be able to see what's going on in your blind spot. So I really think Tesla should have a little indicator in the mirrors to indicate if something's there or not. So it's very quick and very easy for the driver to be able to tell if something's there. And the blind spots on a Model Y are pretty bad, especially at certain angles. If the vehicle's anything than perfectly straight, like if you're merging onto a road, I've come really close to colliding with other vehicles a couple of times. So this is a critical feature on the Tesla Model Y. So another thing that I don't like is the lack of Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Now, if you're driving a Tesla with all its performance and all that kind of stuff, you want to be able to have access to something like Waze, where it's going to tell you if there's speed traps or speed cameras. It's going to tell you if you're coming up on heavy traffic. Now, the Tesla navigation will tell you if you're hitting areas of heavy traffic, but it will not tell you if there's speed traps or speed cameras and that kind of thing. And that's something that is very, very useful. At least to me it is. Now, something that is kind of a complaint, and it's going to be more so for somebody who's driven other EVs, is the regenerative braking gets reduced a lot. even when it's not really all that cold outside, the regenerative braking will be in a reduced state even when I precondition the vehicle, and even when I only charge it up to 85 or 90%. It just does not regen very good, especially in the colder temperatures. Anything below, I would say 50 degrees Fahrenheit, significantly reduces the regenerative braking. Now, my 2017 Bolt EV always seemed to have full regenerative braking, except when I was at a 100% state of charge, of course. But otherwise, when I charged it to 90%, even when it was really cold, it always had very good regenerative braking. So that was sort of a disappointment for me when I got the Tesla. Now, if you haven't had another EV, then it may not bother you as much. The center screen does warn you when the regenerative braking is reduced, so you know that it's going to take more time to stop, or that you may need to use the friction brakes until the vehicle is up to operating temperature, or until the battery is warmed up. Another thing I wanted to note on my review, that it's not really a problem, but it may make some owners concerned, and that's popping noises from the battery. Now, you will notice this at the supercharger when you're supercharging the vehicle and the battery's being actively cooled and it's being charged at a very high rate. You will notice like a popping sound coming from under the floor. I also notice that I live in a rural area, and I also notice that when the temperatures are colder, and when I say colder, I mean like below 45 or 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm doing a lot of regen. So like on a long hill, there's a pretty long downhill slope near my home, and every time, like clockwork, if it's below 45, when I go cruising down that hill and I'm doing a lot of regen, I'll hear that popping sound. And the first couple times I heard the popping sound, I thought I ran over something, because that's what it sounds like. And it turns out it wasn't anything that I hit on the road. It always happened at the same time, and it always happened in the cold. It didn't happen when it was warmer, and it was always at the exact same spots. So it's not necessarily a problem, but it's something that if you hear it and you experience it, it is normal. So another note that I'm going to have is the full self-driving. Now, the full self-driving is not really feature complete as of the time of this recording. And I really can't advise anyone to purchase the package for $12,000. Now, I personally would purchase it, and I would purchase it simply for the value, because I feel it's going to increase in value over the time that I own the vehicle. But you have to look at the feature set that you get for full self-driving and determine if it's in your budget and if you feel that it's worth the extra $12,000. Now, one thing I've heard a lot of other reviewers complain about is the lack of visibility out of the rear window. It really hasn't bothered me. I can see a little bit out of there. Would it be nicer to have a larger window and more view? Probably, but it doesn't bother me. I can see out of there just fine, and if I want to see more, I can just bring up the camera and bring up the rear view camera, and I can see everything in back of the vehicle. So I don't really get why it's such a big complaint from other reviewers, but it is. If you like having a big, huge rear window to be able to see out of, you may have an issue with it. Now, one thing that I don't like also is all the rattling. I mean, a car in this price range really shouldn't have all the rattles and things that this car has. Is it horrible? No. Would it cause me not to want to own the car anymore? No. But it's still annoying. The seatbelt rattle, I posted a video about that, how to mitigate that. That's very annoying, but there's also other rattles in the vehicle. Now, if you have the radio on, you're not going to hear it, which I do most of the time. But if you don't have the radio on and those types of things bother you, be aware that the Tesla is going to have that, and it may get progressively worse as the vehicle gets older and gets more mileage on it. One of the other things that I hear a lot of other reviewers complain about, and that I suppose would be nice to have, is ventilated seats. Now, I've never owned a vehicle with ventilated seats, so I don't necessarily miss it. I would miss heated seats, which thankfully the Tesla has. But in this price range, especially after all the price increases, it is something that shoppers in this price range are going to expect. And you should be aware that Model 3 and Model Y, at least as of the time of this recording, don't have ventilated seats. The other thing I'm going to complain about is all the price increases. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, it's inflation, the price of everything is going up, and that's true. But the Tesla price increases have just gone to a whole new level. When I bought this vehicle in February of 2021, the starting price for a Long Range Model Y was $48,990. At the time of this recording, in mid-April 2022, the starting price of a Model Y Long Range is $62,990. That's $14,000 more expensive. Now, they did make the Midnight Silver Metallic a no-charge option, so you can get white or you can get Midnight Silver Metallic at no extra charge. But this is the same vehicle, aside from some continual improvements. Now, Tesla did add some additional features. One of them is the Ryzen processor that a lot of people like. It makes the infotainment system more snappy. But they didn't add $14,000 worth of value. And not only that, but the supply shortages have made the delivery wait times just absurd. At the time of this recording, if you order a Model Y Long Range here in mid-April, you're looking at a delivery of October 2022 to January of 2023. That's a long time to wait for a car. A car that's $14,000 more expensive. That's all I have, folks. The Tesla Model Y is an awesome car, but it's not perfect. I think it does enough things right that you can overlook some of its shortcomings. Judging by the current demand, I think the majority of the public feels the same, at least right now. Do you own a Model Y, or are you thinking about ordering? Let us know in the comments section what you like and dislike. As always, folks, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and thanks for watching.